This is Gemara Menachos Daf Lamed Vav, and we're holding on. Lamed Hey Amid Beis. We're about 8 lines from the bottom. First word on line is Lifnim V'Lei La'achar, as we continue learning and discussing Tefillin. And here we move on to the bracha. The bracha on Tefillin. Amar Shmuel bar Bidri. Amar Rav Acha Aricha. Amar Ravuna Rav Menachos Amar Shmuel. Tefillin memes and varach. When do you make a bracha on tefillin? Mishas anachasam. When you put them on? Says the Gemara, Eini Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Shmuel. The classical kasha kol mitzvah is kulam varach aleim oiver lasiyasan. We're supposed to make a bracha before we do it. So why are you telling me make a bracha once you put it on? Says the Gemara, you make the bracha from the time it's placed, the time of the hanacha, time you put it down, until the time of the binding. Meaning, it's not fully on you yet. You're about to do the mitzvah, and that's when you make the bracha. And therefore, of course, that's a fulfillment of Oiver Lasiyasa. Says the Gemara as we turn over to today's Daf Lamed Vav Amid Aleph. Amar Rav Chisda Sach Bein Tvila Tvila Chayzer Umevarech. If you spoke between the two tefillins, then you got to make a new bracha. Now this, of course, is assuming that you're making one bracha on both tefillin shel yad and tefillin shel reish. Therefore, says the Gemara, if you spoke between the two tefillins before you put on your head, you make a new bracha. Says the Gemara, Sach in, Lai Sach Lai. Sounds like only if you spoke do you make a second bracha. But what's the kasha? Vashal Rav Chia, Breder Rav Huna, Mishbreder Rav Yechanan. Al Tvila Shal Yad Oimer. Racha Shek Shem Zos Vizvanu, Leniach Tfilin. Al Tfilin Shal Rai. Shaim Racha Shek Shem Zos Vizvanu. Al Mitzvahs Tfilin. So frek the Gemara. You see it has its own bracha already. Explains the Gemara by Lo Sach Mevarech Achas. No, if you didn't make a bracha, you make one bracha. But Sach Mevarech Shtayim. But indeed, it's only if you talk, then you're going to make the second bracha. Tana, similarly we learned, Sach Beitila Tvila Averi Biyadai V'chayzer La Me'archim L'cham. You'll come back and you won't have to go to war. Continues the Gemara, Tana. When you put in your tefillin, meniach shel yad, v'achar kach meniach shel rois. But u'kshei you take off your tefillin, chaylet shel rois, take off your shel rois, v'achar kach chaylet shel yad. So says the Gemara, why is this? When you put on meniach shel yad, meniach shel rois, I understand why. Why does shel yad come before the rois? And then first comes hand v'hadar. And then the boss is supposed to be in Menachos. But asks the Gemara, like, when you take off your tefillin, where do you know that from? So explains the Gemara, Amar Rabba, Ravuna Azbar Ali, Amar Cross has the pasuk, you should have tefillin between your eyes. Calls the man, that when it's between your eyes, it should be taitafais, it should be shtayim. Meaning, it should not be a situation that you take off the shel yad first, because then there's a moment that you'll be wearing the tefillin shel reish without the tefillin shel yad. Continues the Gemara, 2 lines on the Y, lines on the Rabban on tefillin meimes mevarech aleim. When do you make a bracha on your tefillin? Mishas anachas, when you put them on. Ketzad, says the Gemara, Yamashkim Lateis Laderech. You get up early. You're going on the road, and this is early, before the Zman Tefillin. Omisyarin, you're afraid. Shema Yavdu. You're afraid that you're going to lose your Tefillin. So Menichin, put on your Tefillin right now. It's Nacht. It's nighttime. Still put on your Tefillin. And then when the Zman comes, move them around and make a bracha on them. Van Mosai Menichin. Okay, so that's in the morning. And until when? Achetishka Sachama till Shkia. Rav Yaakov Omer, Shetichla Regel, Minashok Fasi Shita Rav Yaakov. Similar to what we have by Minoira, that even well after Seitik Chavim, Ad Shetichla Regel Minashok Chama Ad Zman Shena, you let it wear your tefillin until someone goes to sleep. Taisus here points out it means what a time that people normally go to sleep. Umaydim Chacham the Rav Yankiv, the Chacham that says Man Sheinar Maida to Rav Yaakov, and he says Tichla Regel Min Ashok Shechaltzon. Lots is based like he say. If you took off your tefillin to go to the bathroom, only got his based on Mechas take a bath, and V'shagacham of the sunset, Shov in a Chayzer Minichon, you should not put them back on. Amar Rav Nachman Halacha Ki Rav Yaakov, Rav Chista Rav Ravuna, Matzli Behu Beorta davened in their tefillin in the evening, which is fascinating. We know that the Pesach Halacha is not this way, but says the Gemara, the halacha is like Rav Yaakov, which would seemingly indicate Tichla Regel Menashok, a time after Shkia, and we see that indeed Rav Chista and Rav Arvuna would do that. Ikad Yamri Mamish Fakert, and you always fascinating. We have two Ikad Yamris, the exact same thing. We do not pass like Rav Yaakov that it's Tichla Regel Menashok, and rather it's Shkia like the sheet of the Chachamim. We turn over to Lamed Vav Mebeis and frag to Gemara 1 second. Harav Chista v'Rabba Ravuna. What do you do with that story? What do you do with the story that they lemaisa matzlu bor to dam the tefillin at night? Says the Gemara. Who pliga? We argue on that, and this, of course, this Ikad Yamri is the psak ha lacha. Frakti Gemara, Miyam Rabba Ravuna, Achid is Rabba Ravuna say this, Vamar Rabba Ravuna, Savik HaShecha, Savik Loich HaShecha, Bein HaShemashais, Loich HaLeit, so take off your 12 Leminich to put them on. Havad Eich HaShecha, if it's certainly dark, then Avado, Chaylet, you should be taking off your tefillin. So how can you tell me that he davened Matzli Bubu Orta? How can you tell me he davened in his tefillin at night? Responds the Gemara, Hasam be'erev Shabbos itmar. Rabbi Ravuna allowed tefillin to be worn was regarding erev Shabbos. He's saying that since you're not wearing tefillin on Shabbos, you remove them before nightfall. That was what Rabbi Ravuna was teaching us. Frag the Gemara, Micah Savar, 6 lines down. Then what's Chalik Shabbos also? Shabbos Nami Zman Tefillin. Shabbos Lav Zman Tefillin, Leila Nami Lav Zman Tefillin. So what's going on over here? Says the Gemara. Why? Why are the two linked? Shabbos. Where are you Mamayid Shabbos? Me'asa Mamayid Leilis. From the same place we say you can't wear at night either. The Tanya we learned in a Brayso, V'shamar Tezachu Gazois. Lemaya dami yamim lamima yamim v'loy leilos mi yamim v'loy kol yamim. What's the extra mem? Not all days, which comes to say what? Prat excluding Shabbos. You haven't even the Rabbi Seglili. Rabbi Akiva imer loy nemer chukazu ela lepesach bilvad only regarding Pesach. So frag to Gemara seemingly Laila and Shabbos are linked intrinsically. So why do we find the Rabbi Ravuna is saying otherwise? Responds the Gemara, Nafkalei, Mecha de Nafkalei, Le Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Ravuna says you can put on the mitzvah tefillin at night. He learns the Isser of tefillin on Shabbos Rabbi Akiva, meaning even though they should be linked, there's an additional limit of Rabbi Akiva that we're about to learn, which says you can't wear tefillin on Shabbos. Titania, we learned in a rice. So moving over to the first white line, Rabbi Akiva, Omer, Yochli ani echad tefillin b'Shabbos evim toivim. That's what you would think. Tamulaymar, vayolois elayadecha tzvos b'nei necha, mishatzrichin ois. When do you wear tefillin? When you're in need of an ois, v'hayu le'ois al yodecha. Yatsu Shabbos Yamin Taivim Shein Gufan Ice. They are in ice. Therefore, you do not need another ice, and that is the reason. That is the chilik between Layla and Shabbos. Meaning, you're right that Be'etzem ostensibly Shabbos is the same thing as Layla, and there should be a din of tefillin. Says the Gemara, no. Says the Gemara, Shabbos has an ice already, so you don't need to wear your tefillin. Amar Rav Elazar, kol miniach tefillin achar shkias achamos. Says Rav Elazar, oiver be'asei. You're oiver in a mitzvah asei. Rav Yechon Amar oiver belav. Lema b'Ravavin Amar Avila Kamifli. What is the machlekes? They're both clearly older. You can't wear tefillin at night. Just a shayla, it's a lav and a asei. So what's the debate? 5 lines into wide lines. Amar Ravin Amar Avila kol mak shenemer yishemer ben val. Famous Gemara. Ein ayela loisa. Say those 4 words. So the Mara says the Ravin, Mara says the Ravavin. So that's going to be the machlekes, whether there's going to be a lav or not. Says the Gemara loy. That's not the machlekes. The Kuli Al Mislu the Ravavin, they all agree. They all agree with the Ravavin, Amar Avila. So what's the machlekes here? Vach bakamifli, Mara savar yishamer the lav. Lav, the yishamer the asay, that it goes in conjunction with the context. Whereas Umar Savar, Rav Yechon holds no. Yishamer Dasei Nami Lav. That those words, Yishamer Ben Val, are always a lav, irregardless if they're said in a positive manner. Says the Gemara, Ve'omer Rav Elazar in a similar vein, Im Shamran Mut. If one wants to watch his tefillin, it's mutter. What's mutter? If you're wearing your tefillin just to watch them, it's mutter. Ve'omer Ravina v'yasim kamid Ravashi v'chashach, and it turned dark. V'niyat tefillin, but it's tefillin. V'amri leim, we said lishamru kabayilu. You wearing them mar because you wear them because you want to watch them. V'amar lin, he said indeed in yes. Chazite ledaite. However, I saw the lav l'shamru bar. That's not the real reason why you put them on. Kasavar halacha ve'ein mayrin came. He held that the halacha is you're allowed to fulfill the mitzvah tefillin at night, but we don't teach people to do it, and that's why he did disguise his action in, I'm just watching them, that's why I put them on. Amar Rabba Baruna, 6 lines from the bottom. Every moment you're wearing your tefillin, you have to be cognizant of them, you have to be memashmish of them. Kavachoymer mitzis, an incredible Gemara, a Gemara that we've had already. Where we had this Gemara, was it a Gemara in Sukkah perhaps? In Shabbos and in Yoma, that you have to be cognizant of your tefillin every moment. From where do we learn? From the tzitz. So we, Mir Yidin, you'll see, are like the Kohen Gadol with the tzitz. Uma tzitz, even greater. The tzitz, Shein Balaz Karach, says Hashem's name once, Amar Ter says every Yom Tzchot Tamid has been in your forehead constantly. Shodas Yechdait, many never could stop thinking that you were in the tzitz. Tefillin, Sheishra and Akar, there are many mentions of Hashem's name, Achaz Kama V'Kama. You have to be mindful every moment that you're wearing your tefillin. Tana Rabbana, 3 lines on the bottom. Yadecha. What does that mean? Too small, your left arm. Tomer small el yamin. Tamalaymar. Says the Torah. Af yadi yasta eretz yimini tibcha hashamayim. Says the pasuk in Shamaya. My arm has been the foundation of the earth. My right arm has measured out the heavens. V'aymer. And furthermore, the psukim in Shaftim say, Yad el yasid shalchana v'yamina la'lamaz alamim. And to the right hand, to the laborers. You withdraw your arm, even your right arm, you take it out. So says the Gemara, okay, so a few psukim about the right hand. Says the Gemara, what do you mean? Rabbi Yosi Achayrim Amar Matini Yamin, Shenekar Yad, Shenem Aviyara Yosef Kiyashes Yad Aviv, Yad Yaminai. So we see that it means right. So therefore, L'chayra, by tefillin as well, when it says Yad Chash, we refer to as the right. Meaning we brought rayas from the psukim that it only says Yad Yamin when it means right. But l'chayr we have another raya. Stop over here. We'll pick up from here. B'siyata Dishmaya.